Hi everyone, my name is Kendrick and welcome to ENFJ Mail. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. So me and Binyamin thinks that Grace was mistyped by Dave and Shan, and we want to do a double blind typing of her just to make sure that we're not full of shit and that we're actually being accurate when it comes to typing Grace. So what we're gonna do today, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be interviewing Grace, and I've interviewed Grace before. So welcome, Grace. Welcome back.
Thanks, Kendrick.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be interviewing Grace, and then I actually have on the side Dave and Shan's the thing that they use to type people, like the cross checks and whatnot. And after I interview Grace, I'm gonna be going to watch Grace's videos to further get more evidence to prove that whatever type that I think she is based on the cross checks. All right. So I'm gonna make this as objective as possible. So Grace, welcome back, and let's get this started. So what was your biggest concern when you got your type back from Dave and Shan? Because you got typed back as an ESTJ jumper, right? What was the exact animal breakdown and sexual modalities?
I think they had me as a visual, like a FM, TENE, like jumper, like an ESTJ, and
Right.
then play, blast, sleep, consume.
Okay, and then you said that you had some insecurities before this interview. You said you had some insecurities about
Yeah.
this whole topic. Would you mind like sharing a little bit of that?
Yeah. Well, my insecurity of my own type that is personally just like how I'm trying to like reconcile what all of this is to me is my only like reservation against the type that I do think that I am most likely is that if anything else, I would think I'm an INFJ, which is weird. And I used to think that, and I think that I've figured out why that probably isn't the case for me. But I guess if I'm like figuring out why I'm so obsessed with logic, I guess I know like where the logic is coming from inside of me. Like I know like where the orientation of my logic is. And the only reason I would be obsessed with it is either because it's a savior that I'm skipping to, like a jump that I'm jumping to as an INFJ, or because I'm obsessed with it as an inferior. And so, recently I have been questioning like on and off for a while, like, what if I were an INFJ? Would that explain anything to me? I don't know, but like that's just sort of my my only like personal like thing that I've sort of been like wondering about. And I mean I've also like totally questioned INFP in the past, or like NFP of some sort in the past for myself, and wondered like why I could be and why I couldn't be. And I think that I know where I've landed on it, but
So if
yeah.
you were typed as an ESTJ jumper, you would still technically be an NF. So that's kind of like because
No.
no, yeah, you're sorry, no, I'm wrong. I got that completely wrong. I was thinking of ESFJ. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I got a. So that would make you then NT. That would make you an NT then.
hmm
And do you feel like you're an NT? Like,
in a sense, yeah, but not actually.
like, cause you're,
I feel like I have a strong NT part of me, but like they're telling me that my NT is extroverted and masculine. And I agree that I have something in me that I think is very strong NT energy. But if I have strong NT energy, that has to be coming from inside of me, because like that's the only thing it could be. Like my extroverted world isn't NT. It's whenever I'm sharing NT, it's like coming from whatever I obsess about on my own, and I'm running it past my own criteria and filtering it, and I'm not doing it for like anybody else. And so it wouldn't make sense to me that I would have an extroverted puzzling, because it to me feels like it's coming from like this introverted orientation and is very like specific to me.
Okay, let me do a quick test for you then.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
see. Let's see. I'm gonna give you a scenario.
Okay.
In the interview they give you those scenario questions, like those
Sure.
scenario. So it's gonna be one of those. Okay, so how many brothers and sisters do you have? Do you have any?
Yeah. I have 3 little brothers.
And are they a lot younger than you, or are they in their like 20s, or are they teens, or what are they?
Yeah, they're all teenagers.
Oh, they're all teenagers. What about okay? And you are in your 20s, right? Or are you
I'm
still?
20. Yeah.
You're exactly 20. Okay. Um, do you and your friends go on road trips, or do you guys go on vacations usually, or never?
Um,
As a group of friends.
we go on like little mini road trips if those count, but not really.
Is that something that you guys want to do, or something that interests you, or not at all?
I mean, it could, I guess. I mean, sure. I don't think we're opposed to it.
Okay.
They can be fun. Like I've gone on like little trips with my friends, like down to like another part of the state or something. But
Yeah, how was
I don't know,
that?
those are cool. I guess I don't know if you could call it a road trip. It was going down for like a friend's wedding
Yeah,
a bit ago, and that was kind of cool. We got to like just play some fun car games on the way. I mean, I guess I wouldn't have like chosen to go on a road trip or anything like, but since we ended up doing that, it was pretty cool.
how long was the drive there?
I want to say like 3 hours.
3 hours. So it's like, okay, it's a good road trip time.
Yeah.
Now, if your friends go up to you and they say, Grace, where do you live again? You live in West Coast, right?
Yeah, like right now I'm going to school in Arizona, but I live out in Vermont.
Oh, so you did you just move recently, or what? Like,
Um, or no, I like my family and I like my family lives in Vermont, so I live with them like whenever I'm with my family.
yeah,
But my school, like I'm living on campus in Arizona, so yeah, this is actually my last semester at college. And who knows, I might move back out here like for good, like in the fall. We'll see. I still don't have direction on that, but yeah.
you're still in Arizona right now?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. How did you feel moving there, like away from your family? Because Vermont's not that close to
At first,
Arizona, right? Like you had to.
no, yeah, other sides of the country.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, I don't know. It was like a little bit scary just because I mean I had never been like away from my family for more than a little bit.
yeah.
And like going to a new college and like not like knowing people, it was a little bit uncomfortable because you have to go through like the first few weeks like without people. But I think a few weeks in I probably like started to adjust a lot and it kind of got normal.
I see. So if you and your friends, let's say your friends in college, they tell you, hey Grace, we want to go on a road trip. So you're in Arizona, right? So let's say to Las Vegas, right? That's close. That's close enough.
Okay.
You want to go on a road trip to Las Vegas. How would you plan this road trip with your friends? Like, how would you approach it? And I'm gonna keep this
How
open.
will I plan it?
Yeah, how would you plan it, and how would you execute it? Like I want to see how you. Like, I want to see how you're gonna do this, because like
Okay.
on
Haven't
purpose.
thought of that.
That's okay. I'm
Huh?
purposely putting you on the spot because I want to see how you're gonna react to it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really contemplated this. I've always thought like, oh, if people go on a road trip, like I'm just gonna, I'm sure they have stuff in mind that they want to do, so I would just probably just go along with them just to do whatever they're doing. But if I was in charge of like
Yeah, you're in charge of planning it,
planning it,
making it happen.
I would probably first just like want to see where people want to go, and uh I don't know, just I would probably want to make sure that I didn't have to drive because I wouldn't feel probably comfortable like I don't trust myself to drive very much, and I would be like so freaked out like, oh my word, if I have to drive 5 hours in all this traffic, I just wouldn't trust myself. Like so I would probably see if someone else wanted to drive, or like if we could maybe switch off or something, if they didn't feel comfortable driving either. And I guess I'd want to make sure that we like have enough money to not starve or go broke or something.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah, but mostly I don't know. Like, I don't know. I like never think about those things that much. I
That's
don't
fine.
know.
Oh no, I'm getting some good stuff here. Keep
Yeah,
going. No,
keep going.
there's no right or wrong answer here. Like
Okay.
I want to see how you're gonna approach it. So I'm actually learning a lot right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'd want to, if we were to stay at like a hotel, I guess, which we probably would,
Yeah.
unless we had like friends out there or something. I'd want to check in and see like where we could stay. Make sure that it's safe, because wouldn't want anything crazy to happen in Las Vegas.
Right. Right.
um,
Okay.
and yeah, and I would think that like once we get there, once we get to a hotel, people could sort of see what they're in the mood to do that day. Like, I don't know if I'd want to plan like the whole trip in advance, because like if we're going for like a couple days or something, and nothing like has to be like super reserved in advance, I might just see like, as long as we have enough money to do the different activities that we want, like just see what people are feeling up to that day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would just plan on just doing like whatever as it comes up and hoping everyone has a good time. I don't know.
So you don't mind winging it? Just like going there and like find a place to stay and then just wing it. Like you don't mind, like based on how people feel and stuff.
I guess I would want to have an idea of what it would be like. Like I like sort of can like see how it would go on. Like, I want to have an idea. I don't want to like not be able to anticipate what's going to happen or something. But at a certain point, like it becomes like flexible what's going to happen. Like, I want to make sure that we can all get there and be safe and okay. But like whatever is going to go on that day, as long as I know like, oh, generally we're going to go like see this site or go play this thing over here. Like, at that point, I don't need to plan that part out. Yeah.
Gotcha. And what kind of activities would you enjoy doing if you, like, let's say you go to Las Vegas? What kind of stuff would you, like, what do you, what kind of activities would you enjoy doing, and what activities do you think your friends would enjoy doing?
Yeah, well, I don't know if any of us would be into like if it's Las Vegas, it's where people gamble. I don't know if we'd all like be into that. We'd probably want to like go see like see sites, go visit places, walk around, just go to like eat fun food or something. Yeah. And I'd probably be cool with that too. Oh, sorry, one sec.
No worries.
Sorry. My roommate walked in, so it might just get a little bit loud here. But I think we're all right. Yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts. I don't know if there's anything else.
Where would you rather go? Let's say Vegas is not the place. Do you guys want to go to like Disneyland or something, or Disney World? Is that something more fun?
Oh, that's out there. Yeah, a lot of my friends are really into that. So yeah, sure.
Okay, let's say you go to California and your road trip is to California instead, and you're going to go to Disney World and Universal Studios or something like that. What kind of activities would you like to do in those places, like activity wise?
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know much about them. I know they have like a lot of rides and stuff, so I would think like once we get there, we can see like what looks like a cool ride and go on that or something. I don't know.
What do you personally like to do? Like, what do you enjoy do? Okay, like let's take the vacation thing out of the way now. Let's move on. What are your personal hobbies? Like, what do you like to do for fun?
In my own time. This is so weird, but I'm like sort of a nerd, so I really like to like, honestly, my thing that I do in my spare time is I really like to look into personality type and stuff. So recently I've been slowly but surely reading. You'll be so proud of me, Kendrick. I've been reading
what
a little bit of like Carl Jung's like descriptions of the functions, and just, you know, digesting that, seeing what that is. I'm also sometimes interested in, learning about my views on things like theology. That's something I like to sort of do in just like my own free time when I'm just not really doing anything. But well, I guess like the preference is like if it's like stuff that I would prefer to do, I'd prefer to like hang out and like talk with my friends and stuff. But if they're not around, I would probably want to like, just learn about those different things. So yeah, if it were like a normal day or something like that, I'd go to class, which is cool, and then like hang out with one of my friends and, just like talk about life and like talk about people's days with them. That's really fun. Like, I love chatting with my roommate at the end of the day when she comes in and tells me about her day and, whatever's happening. I don't know. Like, it's not really, I feel like it's nothing really specific. It's just stuff that's fun. I don't know.
Yeah, got it. No, that was helpful actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to type you actually. It's like now that I'm going through the cross checks, it's pretty challenging. But
Well,
okay, no, it's good. No, I got some good information from you. Don't worry. Like, it's just
okay.
okay. Let me think of here. Let me think of something. So tell me about something about in your past life. Okay, like not past life, but like
My best life.
no, not your past life, but I mean like um, what were you into in your childhood?
I really liked, well, again, like I loved like hanging out with my friends at school. Like what I looked forward to every day was just getting to go to school
Yeah.
and like hang out with my friends and talk to them at recess and play games with them. Um, uh, I liked watching shows. Like I liked watching Disney with my brother. I liked playing with my pet rats. I had pet rats as a kid, and that was fun.
Like hamsters or just actual rats?
They were like actual rats. They have like the personality of dogs. They're like super social, which is kind of cool.
Where did you get the rats? That's kind of random. Like as a pet.
A pet store. Oh, they were meant to be snake food,
Oh, they're supposed to be snake food, and then they
but
make
we
it pet.
got them.
I guess you don't want to feed them to snake.
Yeah,
That's kind of mean, right?
but they were wonderful pets. Like they're so sweet.
Did you like let them loose, or did you just play with them in like in their cage?
Yeah, sometimes we could like let them play around the house and stuff, and they would like we could call them, and they would like run up to us because they were like bonded to us. Yeah,
Oh, that's so crazy.
isn't that cool?
Oh, yeah, that's super
Yeah, we've
cool.
had like other rodents like chinchillas and like I don't know, and we've had like different rodents, and they've never been like quite as interesting as rats, which is really weird because rats like are not a normal pet.
Yeah. Have you always been into like pets? Like, do you like animals and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, did you ever have like a normal animal, like a dog or a cat?
Oh
Like,
yeah, we totally have dogs too. Yeah, like right now we have a couple pugs.
yeah, yeah,
They're so sweet.
yeah. Okay. Um. All right. I'll ask you some other questions.
Okay.
I'm trying to like get to know you better, in your past and also the present and the future. So right now, what are you doing? You're going to school in Arizona. Where do you want to like after you said this is your last semester in college, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Or last semester, I'll be doing online classes at home next semester, so I'm not graduating yet.
is
But
this
yeah.
are you doing like a diploma or degree or what?
Yeah, I'll get like my BA.
Oh,
Yeah.
but you're only 20s. Like you're gonna get a BA like really this quick?
Yeah, because I did like dual enrollment senior year of high school, so I got to sort of get freshman year of college over with during my senior year.
Oh wow. Okay, that's why you're speeding things up. And have you always like
Yeah.
taken a lot of courses
Um,
in one go usually? Because you can choose how many courses you take per semester, right?
yeah, I mean, certain semesters I've taken 6, other ones I've taken 5.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever been too overwhelming though.
And what are you studying again?
I'm studying, it's a behavioral health major, which is pretty much like psychology, but it's like with a counseling emphasis.
Yeah. So what made you decide to go towards that major?
Yeah, well, this is kind of interesting because before this, I was really fascinated by genetics and I wanted to do that, but
Yeah.
I don't think I wanted to work like in a lab. So I wasn't really sure. And then my
Why not?
best friend,
How
she
come?
like,
So, sorry, how come you don't want to work in a lab?
Oh, it would just kind of be boring. And also I realized like it might take about like, 20 years or something to make one discovery that could maybe be helpful, but I don't know like how impactful it would really be to discover something about the genetic code, as interesting and fascinating as it might be. Um, like that's not really gonna help many people, and I realized like how much more important it was to feel like I had like a direct impact on people.
Yeah.
um so that was kind of why. And like my best friend when I was in like 10th grade or something, she had different like difficulties like with her mental health, and we both like grew up in like the church, like in a Baptist denomination, so like pretty like fundamentalist. Like I don't think most Christian denominations are like this, but unfortunately ours was. And like they kind of like dismissed that what she had is like didn't think that like mental health even existed.
Yeah.
And like they couldn't help her, and then she went to a psychologist that could help her, but they couldn't even like she was dealing with a lot of spiritual issues too, and there
Yeah.
was like nobody to help her through the spiritual root of what she was going through, and also understanding it through like a more like kind of like medical like biology perspective. Like nobody was integrating those perspectives, and it was really like I think that really like hurt my friend. And like I had wished that like if I could go back I would have wanted to like have been informed by that, because like I think it really messed with her to like have no one who could really help her with that. And
How,
so
what,
yeah.
what do you think of the spiritual root stuff that your friends were having? Like, what's your take on that?
Like I think it kind of depends for certain people. Like for some people I think like they know it. Like I wouldn't be able to like know for sure if what someone was dealing with had a spiritual root or if it didn't, because they can sort of come out in like similar like. So she happened to have like a type of OCD that was around like fearing like things like hell and things like that. And so a lot of people were giving her advice like this is how you can know that you don't need to be scared of it, but that like wasn't working on her. So it wasn't like just the spiritual issue that she could fix on her own. But then when she got the advice that she needed like how to just stop those like obsessive thoughts from happening, it helped her, but then she never really resolved her actual fears that were like at the bottom of it and the actual like spiritual roots of that. um and so I don't think they really like did justice to what was really going on with her.
Gotcha. And then what about your personal opinion of it? Because you mentioned other people's opinion. What's your personal take on it?
Yeah, well, I guess I'm saying that I personally think that well, I guess that's what I was saying. Like I'm saying that I don't think I was talking about other people's like opinions, because like the church had the opinion of like it's a spiritual thing, and like the other like the doctors had the opinion it was biological. But I think that it was actually like both. I think that like she has like a predisposition to obsessive thinking in the first place, and so that can sort of hijack the spirit. I think she had this core spiritual issue of not knowing how she related to God, I think is what it seemed like in my friend. And that turned into an obsession. And once like it turned into an obsession, I believe it stopped being spiritual and became more of her biology just taking over. And like her obsessive thinking around that wasn't because there was something like necessarily spiritual that was like possessing her or something, like some people thought that. But I don't think that was what was happening. I think that it was just her own brain wiring creating like a mountain out of a molehill, I guess.
So you felt like it
But
was
there was still something to be dealt with.
you felt like it was self-created, like it was like she made it up, or
No, not at all. I don't think that she made it up.
okay.
um I don't think it was like self-created, but I think that like the way that I think like OCD works is it's almost that I think it's like certain like pathways, it's like more likely that the brain will obsess over a thought and become like it's like almost like an anxiety disorder, I think. And so for her, she like had a lot of anxiety around it. And I don't think like her spiritual issue that she was scared of deserved to like be amplified into that much anxiety, because like it was preventing her from actually being able to see, I think, her spiritual issue for what it was, I think. And again, like I don't know because I'm not her, but that's what it seemed like to me.
Gotcha. All right. All right. That was helpful, by the way. That was good.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's trying to think now. So do you plan on getting a master's degree after you finish your undergrad, or are you going to just stay with that bachelor's? And what do you want to get the master's on?
In counseling.
In counseling?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I actually have to get a master's to be able to.
Right. And so is that the kind of job that you want to do? You want to counsel people, or?
I think so. I mean, at this point, this is what I like feel called to do. And I mean, that may change at some point, but for now, like, I really feel like that's kind of what I'm made for.
Have you ever changed your mind on like the direction you want to go, or
well, yeah.
Like, can you tell me a story when you change your mind about something?
Well, yeah, because like when I had thought I wanted to be a geneticist or something, like there was this thing in the back of my mind, like I didn't, it just didn't seem like it would, like it just seemed like kind of weird to me. But because I sort of knew that I hadn't found the right thing that like I was actually supposed to do, because it just, I don't know, it didn't have that, like, I didn't feel like very convicted about it or anything. But yeah, I know, sorry, I just like got a text, so I got distracted there.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You start again.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of like was annoyed by it in the back of my mind, like, really? I don't think so. But it's like certain things, like it was just sort of the times that where it was able to like give advice to people, and the times that I've like been able to help people through things, I like feel like, okay, this is actually what I'm strong in and what I was meant for. And this is actually helping people. Like they actually they actually need what I have to offer them. And like, this is why I have this skill, is to like be able to like help them to understand like what's happening for them, or like, to like be able to like relate to them when this is happening, or whatever. To be able to talk through those things. And I don't know, it like feels like just very much like the times that I've been convicted about this, I've felt like just moments of absolute clarity or something. But I don't think I really had that as much. Thinking that I wanted to be a geneticist, just because like there was never that like absolute like conviction, or like just like knowing that was it. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what are things in your life where you felt a strong conviction towards? So you said counseling is one of the areas where you have a strong conviction for. Is there any other parts of your life where you felt like you have a strong conviction for? Or is it just mainly just counseling?
Yeah, I would say things to do with like my own faith, and just because of how controversial that can be, and I know like how much misunderstandings there are, and I think a lot of people like there's just so many like premises that need to get built up to even talk about it. I don't know if I would want to like share as much of like where I've settled in convictions about my faith and how that has changed, but that's another one of the things.
So you're convicted towards your faith then, like your religion then, I'm guessing. Yeah. What is your religion, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah. Christian.
Are you a specific Christian group, or just Christian?
I don't know if I would like align myself with like a particular group, because there's things about each denomination that I'm not completely settled on.
So you're just Christian, like just plain Christian.
Yeah, I guess I would just put it that way. Yeah.
Okay. And you're very convicted in your belief as a Christian.
Yes.
All right. No, that's fine. That's fine. There's nothing.
Yeah.
Fine.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't feel comfortable maybe like sharing all of what those convictions are, but I did come to those convictions, I guess, through like a lot of like questioning and taking certain classes and like a lot of intense like this doesn't make sense, and like figuring like having to like convince myself or something. And to me, like where I've landed and the way that I've landed, like for me for now, like it makes sense.
Gotcha. Now, when it comes to your religion, do you try to get your friends to also become Christians too, or do you kind of just like leave them alone and like let like?
So like that's the thing. As a kid, that was harder for me, and I've actually like, if I can give my opinion of like how this relates to the functions, I have like kind of a story that was kind of interesting. So
Sure.
like as a kid, I had like different beliefs about like sharing faith, because like everyone said that like, oh, if you like love people, then you should like tell them about Jesus or something, and like basically like it almost felt like I was encouraged to force it on people or something.
Yeah.
And I also talked to another to a masculine TE dominant person about this same thing, and like someone else who grew up in the church and talked about evangelism. And like it was interesting because we both grew up doing that, and we both like sort of realized that that wasn't the way to, like forcing things on people wasn't the way to do it, but it was for different reasons. So when I was talking to my friend who has masculine TE, she was saying that she basically like just thought like this is literally the way because everyone says it's the way, so it's the way. And like it wasn't, she said it wasn't necessarily, it was like she thought that if it was the truth, everyone should just like have it.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point she realized she didn't want to tell people what they should care about, and she
Yeah.
didn't feel comfortable with it. She didn't like how that felt, and so she stopped, because then that's how her own like idea of like sharing her faith changed. And for me growing up, I was like, I really wanted like, because I thought like, I literally thought as a kid like, oh my word, like if I don't like share this, like, oh, people are like gonna go to hell. And like that made me so sad. I would just think of like how horrible it was that like I didn't like, it would be so unfair if like if that was the truth and I were to have a conversation with someone and like not share this because I thought this is going to help them. But I also got freaked out because I didn't know how to even explain like why anyone should be convicted about this, and I thought it was unfair to like push on somebody else something that I wasn't even sure in my head was true. Like, why should I expect anyone else to think that? It's not even obvious. Like, I did not think this way was obvious at all. And so, like, it was frustrating. And for me, I had to, like, I was trying to, like, figure out, like, where my convictions would lie on, or why I knew that this was true for myself. Because until I knew why anything was true for myself, I could never be convicted enough to share that with somebody else. But, like, I was a kid, and so that was hard, like, to do.
And
Yeah.
what about now? Like, what are?
I don't really like push my faith onto other people now, just because I've realized more and more how like that I don't think that that's really helpful. And I realize that like there's so many things that different people like believe that I don't think that like some people I know like think that like Christianity or whatever is like this obvious thing. I don't think so at all. I think it's like really intense. So if someone was curious and wanted to like really talk about like all of the reasons that like I like, that would be like really intimidating for me, because I would have to do like a lot more research and I would get really freaked out about that. But like if somebody wanted to have like a really in-depth conversation about it, but I would never like assume that like Christianity is like the right way to someone else, because that's really rude. Like, why would I assume that? I don't know.
Yeah, and can you? Why would it be rude for you to like introduce Christianity to someone?
Because that would be like assuming that they like are stupid or something. Like that's
They're, they're assuming what? Sorry.
it's like assuming that they like don't know, like that they're like not smart enough to know it or something, and that's not it at all. Like like some people I know are like, oh my word, these people don't know anything because they're not like, they don't believe in Jesus. I'm like, what the heck? Like that's so like rude. Just like, I don't know. Like you can't just assume like like so like people believe what they believe about the world for a lot of reasons, and it might take months for someone to maybe see things the way we do, and there's nothing like wrong with them seeing it differently, and like there's nothing wrong with them as a person for not like believing this, but you know, things like that.
Gotcha. Um, how do you have friends of different backgrounds, like religious backgrounds?
Oh totally, yeah.
Like, Buddhist, Muslim, whatever.
I think so, yeah.
Have you asked them before, or have you ever asked your friends what they're?
Yeah, so like one of my friends, one of my close friends, she actually started getting into Buddhism a little, and yeah, I was curious like why that was really appealing to her and things like that, and that was kind of interesting.
And then did she tell you why?
Mhm.
And then what did you think, or how did you feel when she told you that her?
Um, like I guess it didn't really sway me, but I see why it was super helpful for her.
Okay, and why did it not sway you? Like, what was it
Because
about?
it just, oh, I feel like so nervous talking about religion. But yeah, like it just like it doesn't get anywhere near the foundations of what I believe, so it doesn't really like it doesn't budge anything. Um
Okay, stop for a second. Um, we don't have to talk about religion, but what is it about talking about religion that makes you feel nervous?
because I know it's so complex. Like um there's so many like there's just so much like um disagreement around this, and so many like assumptions, and it's like there's like religion and politics are sort of those things where um I don't know, people can sometimes just like I don't know, quickly judge that the other person like there's just layers and layers and layers of premises that all build on different foundations, I think,
Yeah,
for every viewpoint, and someone coming at it from one might see the other as like stupid for even getting close to thinking that. And
yeah.
I know that that's how so many people view Christianity, and it would take me like probably months to ever get close to defending why I like do believe this. And so it kind of freaks me out, I guess, because I know that this is so controversial, and I don't want to be like, I guess, judged for it sometimes, because like it's not going to change. Like if people disagree with me, it's not going to change like what I do believe here. But I'm very hesitant to talk about it because I think a lot of people assume a lot of things like, oh, if you're a Christian, you're like stupid, or like you don't believe in science and stuff, and like that's not it at all. And there's just so the boatload of assumptions that can come with that. So I guess that might be why it makes me nervous.
So is it because like you're maybe you don't want to say something that might offend us another group of people, or is it just like?
um I don't know, I just like, it's almost like I want to be like uh I either want to be like left alone and have people not be able to know like this little bit about me that comes with assumptions, or be able to like fully explain myself 100%. And I definitely wouldn't feel comfortable or capable of doing that yet. And that would take like so much preparation. So yeah,
What kind of
I don't know. Does that
preparation?
make sense?
What kind of preparation would you need to?
Like, oh, dang it. Like a lifetime of sorting through all of like the contradictions that don't even make sense to me yet, and all, oh man,
Like,
just a lot of things. Like,
where are the contradictions coming from? Like, where are you getting the source for the contradictions?
what or what?
Because you're talking about sorting through the contradictions, right? Like,
Yeah.
where are you getting the contradictions to begin with? Like, how did you learn about the contradictions, or where did you get it from?
I would say mostly like to me, or like if someone pointed out a contradiction and I saw it, I'd be like, yeah, that doesn't, like, I don't even know why I think that. Yikes. Oh, I'm scared. Like, whoa, I don't know why. I need to know why. Like, something like that.
All right, got it. Um, okay, give me a second. I'm trying to think. So I'm going through a cross checks right now. So
I mean,
yeah. What do you want to say?
Yeah, I guess I have like, sorry, I thought I had an example there for a sec of like something that was really tricky. Like, well, here's one that I might be comfortable sharing. Like, as a kid, I was like, people were saying like, you know, that like Jesus had to die on a cross to save people from their sins and stuff like that. And I was thinking like, well, like, why though? Like, I don't, like, it doesn't even make sense to me. Like, why? Like, I want to believe this if like this is the truth, but I don't, like, why? Like, why the heck? Like, and like I felt like nobody, like everyone was just assuming that I should just believe it because it's like just the correct thing. And it's like, well, why is it the correct thing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. Like, in order to feel safe even believing something, I need to know why I believe it. Like, because I can't just believe something just because, or because it seems right or something. Like, I have to know for myself. Like, and so I was like, yeah, well, why? Like, why did he have to die? If like God can do anything, like, come on. And like people were just telling me like acting like I was even like wrong for asking that question, like that was a disrespectful question or something.
Right.
And it's like, no, I think I have a right to ask that question. Like,
yeah.
But it was a little uncomfortable and stuff. But yeah.
So, did you ever find the why? Because clearly you're still Christian, so you eventually found it.
Yes.
Would you mind sharing the why? Do you feel comfortable? If not, it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess like to summarize it quickly, because it would take a lot to go into it, but
yeah, that's fine.
The concept of justice and how I see justice, and things like that. Like once I was old enough to understand, because this was before I even understood the concept of what justice would be, and all of the different implications that I think like around justice. That sort of was it for me. That sort of clicked in place.
So it's related to justice?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and I know that might like not. Sorry, like I know that might sound like totally like what the heck, but yeah.
I mean, no, it's just it's a little bit vague. That's why. So it's like,
yeah,
which helps me with the cross check.
Yeah, I mean,
but still.
That what?
No, it does help me, but like this one's obvious though because I've already gone through this one, so I'm trying to.
Okay.
Okay. Let me think here. How do you perceive risk? Like, are you a risk? Would you say you're a risk taker, or do you usually play things safe? You know, like.
If it's like a very, very risky, if it's like a life-threatening risk, something like that, like probably not. I'm not like a daredevil. But things that could be like risky. Like I guess I don't quite know like the scenario that you're asking, but things that.
Okay, I'll give you some specific questions.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll ask you from different point of views. Okay. So, do you like hiking?
Not particularly.
No, particularly. Okay. What is it about hiking that you don't like?
It's just kind of exhausting.
It's exhausting. Okay.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Okay. But have you ever gone sightseeing in a national park before? Like the Grand Canyon, for example?
Have I what?
Have you gone sightseeing?
Oh, yeah.
And what did you think? And
yeah.
Like did you go to the edge of the canyon itself, or did you stay away from the edge?
We like hiked down into the canyon.
Yeah.
and it was kind of cool, but everything looked kind of it didn't look like as amazing as it did from other angles, because when you're inside of it, everything just looks like sort of a little bit more flat or something.
I see.
That was kind of cool. But then after we hiked down, we went to like this tower,
Yeah.
where we could see like the entire Grand Canyon from a distance, and that was just beautiful, and that was so cool.
Now, did you see people taking crazy pictures? Like they'll go to the edge of the cliff and like take pictures and take selfies. Did you see any of that?
Oh yeah, some people were doing that. Like some people were like climbing on like different areas that you weren't allowed to, because if you fell, you could die.
Yeah.
I was actually very scared about hiking down into the canyon, because we were like a few feet from the edge, and like if I were to trip or something, I knew that I would like die. And to me, I'm like, it's not worth risking my life to like almost die like to that. If it was that likely that I could even like die from like going down into the canyon, I probably like wouldn't have done it. But I don't think it's like.
But
we were all like,
how did you feel when people did it though? When the other people were doing it, like they're going to the illegal places, they're taking pictures.
I'm like, oh my! I mean, I kind of like, for certain people, I trust that they like know their own like abilities and that they're not gonna fall.
Yeah.
But I was also kind of scared, like, oh my word, guys, that's scary. Like if they slipped or made a wrong step, like that would be horrible. So.
Okay, so okay. What did you personally think though when they were like, did anyone do anything nuts? Because like when I went to the Grand Canyon before, there would be people that would be scaling the side of the cliff, like completely exposed, where you can fall and die, right? And they did it for the purpose of taking a selfie, right? Or taking like a
seriously.
Yeah, to take
oh my word! I feel like that's just kind of yeah.
Yeah, how did you feel? How do you feel about that?
Hard decision.
Sorry?
I feel like that's not a very wise decision, like to risk your life for that.
For a selfie, of course.
For a selfie, like.
Yeah. Well, people do it though, But I guess this is not something that you would do personally.
Yeah.
Now, are you dating right now, or are you single?
I'm single.
All right. And what's your opinion of like dating and stuff? Like,
my opinion of dating, like, it's cool. Like, some people date for fun. Like, some people date more intentionally. Like, I would be someone to probably like date a little bit more intentionally. Like, just like, like I would probably want to like have a good chance of like knowing like, oh, okay, like I could end up with this person. Just because like, that's just sort of my thing. But yeah, like, I guess I don't have like my opinion on dating. Like, is that
so if you date someone, you want that person to be kind of like your soulmate, or kind of like a long-term, like
that's what I would be looking for. Yeah,
someone that you'll probably end up marrying or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I see. Okay, cool. That's very good information. All right. Okay, I got some stuff here, but there's a lot of stuff about you that's really like hard to pinpoint, because there's like.
Yeah. Well, if it's hard for you, like I might be able to like share some theories I have later. But yeah.
No, I want to hear the stories, because the stories is like, I don't know if like Brene Brown said that like stories is like data with a soul, right? So I think I'm trying to get my data from your stories, because that's kind of like where you're really talking about like yourself essentially, right? Which is hard, because EJs have trouble talking about themselves. So it's like if I was
really? But like, haven't I been talking about myself this whole time?
No, you were, but you were talking about a lot about other people. So like for me, it was obvious. Like, this is not a no-brainer. You're an EJ. That's a no-brainer. Like, that's like, it doesn't get any more obvious than that. Like, you're definitely like a single observer EJ. Like, that's
okay.
single decider. Sorry, you're a single decider.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you catch that when I said that?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm just trying to figure out. There's a lot of things that's kind of like, I'm trying to see Dave and Shan's point of view now that I'm actually going through the cross checks. I'm like, oh, there is like some stuff that you're actually saying that actually validates what they're saying. So I'm like, okay, and it's some not some as well. So I have to go cross check with Binyamin, obviously. But okay, I'm stumped. I'm seriously stumped. Like, that's all I can say right now. I'm stumped.
Well, but could I like share, I guess, why what my reaction to hearing their assessment of me and the audios and stuff?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So they basically like interpreted, like they told me that they saw that I was like very strong NT
Yes.
stuff, and that I was also kind of playful. I was definitely an intuitive and an EJ, and my thinking was masculine. Those are like the 5 things I picked up, and they kind of like combine that all into thinking that that makes me like a visual ESTJ jumper.
Why
But then
why did they say you're visual?
because my sensory is feminine and my thinking is masculine. They saw that I was like a nope machine.
You're a what machine?
They saw that I was a nope machine is what they said.
A note machine? I'm confused.
Like a nope, like you know how I think they call like thinkers like nope, like masculine people have masculine thinking somewhere, that when it comes to the domain of their thinking they can be a nope machine. Like they saw that when it came to the thinking that I was using, I was very solid on the things that I thought.
I see. Okay, okay.
But then after realizing all these things, the assumptions that they made after, like, so they said all these things basically made them think that I was a like visual ESTJ. And then after that, they told me all of the assumptions that they could make from that point. And then once they started assuming certain things about me, like they just didn't, like I knew that that wasn't true because it didn't, like that wasn't accurate to the experience.
Yeah.
So they were saying basically like that I have a hard time connecting with people because I'm banging logic over their heads and forcing solutions on them.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I'm going to go cry basically in a vulnerable heap. Like, get away from me. I need to deal with my own feelings. This
Yeah.
is not your feelings. This is my feelings. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, I just didn't relate. I didn't know where that came from because that definitely isn't accurate to the experience. And Shan even said, you said you want to help people, and TE users want to help people, and FE users want to connect with people. And so that means you have a hard time connecting with people. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, no, like everyone in my family and everyone I know in real life has told me the exact opposite. And I know that it is the exact opposite based on my subjective experience of what those things are like.
Yeah.
Because like, so my mom is like a, you know, straight up like masculine TE all the way. She's like a double masculine ESFP jumper.
Yeah.
And like she really reminds me of like Mel Robbins and even a little bit of Lauren Sander. And you know, like what's funny is like if there's we like connect really well, but we do not connect when it comes to the way we make decisions. We've never understood each other until I started to understand like the Myers-Briggs theory, and now I can actually understand like where I think my mom is coming from, but I never naturally did, and it still can be tricky. But like one of the things is like, okay, so for instance, like if she's sad, I might naturally try to like just talk to her about it and like try to cheer her up or something and try to like create positivity and move us all that way. And she's like, what are you doing trying to move my, like she'll literally even say something, what are you doing, like you can't, like why do you think that we can just connect over feelings, like why do you think that, like like this is my feeling, okay, like I need like, and this is hard for me, and like she's very vulnerable about it because it's her feminine FI.
Right.
But she also might be like, honey, what I need you to do is like, while I process this for myself, I might need to go to my room and just figure out what I need for a second. And like, in the meantime, can you like do the laundry for me? And like, once she says, can you do the laundry for me? I'll be like, oh, okay, like if that makes you feel better, of course. But I don't naturally think to help people through getting things done for them, like in providing logical solutions. But if I were to be sad, and like both of my parents are actually TEFI users, so like I've confused both of them because when I get sad, I just want to talk it out and I just want to like figure out what's actually going on, and they get confused because they take my emotions more seriously than like I do, because they assume that it's very personal to me and I need to take effort to figure out what's going on with me. And that's actually not the case, because like whenever I have an emotion, I'm trying to talk it out and figure out how to like understand that emotion in terms of how everyone feels. like, and how, like, they feel. And once I know how they feel and how we can relate to each other or something, like, I'm okay. Like, it's not, the process of dealing with my own feelings is not a process of figuring out what matters to me or what I need or specifically, or like who I am emotionally. It's like a symptom of like something greater outside of me about human beings, like, if that even makes sense. So anyway, yeah, but like my parents will usually either say, honey, I think you need to like go to your room and process, and I'm like, what the heck, like no, I'm just gonna be like if you leave me alone with my emotions, I don't feel stuff. I analyze, not through TE, but I'm like, I just like question everything for myself. Yeah, like, but the other thing my parents will do, like, that will be like, okay, what's a solution we can have? And I'm like, no, I just want to talk to you about it. Like, it's cool. Like, it's just a feeling, and it's like happening, and like people feel stuff. Like, I don't know. I just like want to talk to you, and this is gonna go away, but I just want to talk to you to get through this or something. I don't know, like something like that. But they have always treated me assuming that I do have FI, and I think that's always confused me. Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, I got a good cross check for just based on your thing, actually.
okay,
Based on your little rant, I got a really good.
okay,
Yeah, it's not what you think though, but it's I got something which is good. I'll let you know
okay,
later, like my findings. But I gotta piece everything together first, make sure that everything's accurate. But
yeah,
um, the FI and FE thing is very confusing to me for you. I initially thought you had FE. There's some stuff that you said earlier during the interview that was very FI. So I was like, oh.
really,
And then now you're saying this stuff, but you're saying it in a logical way. So I'm kind of like, okay. So it's kind of like confusing now because you did say some FI stuff earlier, which is fine because everyone has everything,
I
right?
did.
You did, yeah, you did. But
Yeah, I mean, like, of course, there's definitely stuff that I personally care about, but I just don't like make decisions based on it. And I don't like, everyone has stuff I think that they personally care about. Like,
yeah,
everyone has like that FI part, I think.
yeah. But there's a lot of stuff that you said too that, I mean, I'm not saying this is set in stone, but you did say
Mhm.
some stuff that was very T also. Like when you were planning your trip, for example, you're like, I want to see what my friends want to do, you know?
Yeah.
And then that's T, right? What they want to do, It's like,
Why would that be TE?
because what they want to do is what works for them, you know?
Yeah,
So
I don't know. I feel like that could just be like a DE thing in general. Or, I don't know.
no, because if
I could
someone
see
asks,
any type doing that.
because if someone goes up to me and say, hey, what do you want? No, my FE friends never do that. But like my FE friends would be like, yeah, let's go drinking, it's gonna be so fun, like, you
Hmm.
know it's like it's not like if you ask someone like a TE, because TE and FI are together, right? It's like they're together.
Yeah.
So if you ask someone what do you want to do, it's like, what do I FI want to do, right? Like what makes me happy, right? So, and then that's you trying to use T. It's like, okay, I know that's what you want to do, so I'm gonna put that in a plan. So I'm gonna execute upon what you said that you like. That's what.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like that.
Well, it doesn't feel that way, but that's kind of what you said earlier. That's
Yeah. I think I don't believe that that's coming from like a place of trying to like execute a plan. I think I'm just sort of going along with what would be fun, because like I never like make plans of like what I like assume will be fun, because I think I just like to go along with stuff in general. But I'm also not like, oh, you guys want this, let's make this work. Like that's not what that's, I don't think, like what it's like at all.
all right.
I don't know.
Well, the only thing that prove is you have masculine T for sure. So, but I don't know if it's T or T, so I'm gonna leave it blank right now because I have no.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't have enough data. Like when you're trying to officially type someone, it has to be like I need to have multiple evidence. But I have some stuff
Mhm.
here. I have some really good stuff. Okay, so far what I can tell is you're definitely NF and you're definitely NT. That is like obvious. You definitely have Savior NT and NF. Now I don't know which
Interesting.
I don't know which one yet, but you definitely have savior NT and NF. Your lowest one is ST. Your ST is your like
Yeah.
like everything you're saying is not ST at all. Like it's definitely NT and NF, and you maybe a demon SF, right? So that's how I would kind of like
Yeah.
I would order it. So I'm trying to figure out right now, and then I deleted a lot of stuff in the cross check here that they have on their website. So I have you as an EJ. Don't know what kind of EJ yet. So I don't know if you are like, okay, my like before we did this interview a long time ago when I spoke to you, I thought you're an ENFJ, but like I'm going to the cross check right now. The other EJ type is definitely a contender still. Like, whether that be ESFJ, ENFJ, ESTJ, right? And there's one more I forgot. But I can't figure out if you're using. Hold on, let me just think here. Okay, you have Savior N, but my gut tells me you have NI, but like I can't use my gut. I have to use like facts here. So I have to think. Man, this is tough. Because you also have low consume, so it's not a good question for me to ask. Like the most obvious thing about you is your play. Like, that is like that's a no-brainer. Play is definitely like super obvious. You're definitely high energy. So I'm trying to figure out if you're play blast or blast play. But like it's definitely one of those two first. And
I'm kind of curious now.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Like, I think in our last interview, you had said that I seemed to be swinging from SF to NT. Like as a play to sleep, and I was like very in the moment, and then I swung into being like very like aggressively conceptual. And like that really seemed to make a lot of sense to me. So, like, what changed to make you not see SF at all?
I see SF. I see SF as a demon, but I don't see it as last. I see ST as last. Like ST is 100% last. Like there's that is super obvious. Like there's some stuff that's super obvious. Like you're an EJ, that's super obvious. You're ST last, that's super obvious. So I'm trying to work on the cross check right now to figure it out, because if you were NF first, then you could still technically be a jumper ESFJ or ESTJ, right? If you were play first, you can still be an ENTJ also. Well, actually, any of the four combinations actually. ST. So you're not ST first. So there's no way you could be an. If you have ST last, let me see. EF, SF. Okay. Okay. If you have SF demon, then there's no way you are a jumper ENFJ. So I'm gonna take that out of the board right now. There's no way you are a jumper. Yeah. There's no way you're a jumper ENFJ. So I'm gonna take that out. Okay. So that's one.
Okay.
That's one gone. You could still be an ENFJ with Savior Blast.
Yeah, I mean, I've considered the possibility of being sleep, honestly, for a while. That's the other thing I was really curious about.
Well, I think you have sleep demon, for sure. Like it would definitely.
Well, I might, yeah.
I think you definitely have sleep demon, but like I'm just going to the cross check right now. So I think you definitely have sleep demon. Consume demon too. I mean, there's the weird thing is you said some stuff earlier that kind of sounded info dominant also. So I was kind of like, I was thrown off when you said it, right?
Yeah, I'm like, the one thing I'm like 100% sure of at this point is I'm energy dominant. Like I think I'm like pretty sure of that one.
Why are you sure?
Because I can't see myself as missing either sleep or play.
And what makes you think you're not missing sleep? You're not missing play for sure.
That I'm not missing sleep?
Yeah, what makes you think you're not sleeping?
is that like whenever I'm alone, I shoot into my own head very quickly.
Yeah,
And like usually whenever I am taking in content,
yeah.
I've been realizing recently that I think that I'm actually, rather than taking it in, like, so I sort of think of consume as like consuming food, like slowly taking it in, and then sleep is sort of digesting on what has been taken in. And so like I guess I would say like it feels almost as if it's weird. Like I can feel this inside of myself that it's almost as if I'm digesting stuff that I haven't even fully processed yet. Or not, like I'm processing something that I haven't fully let be on its own yet. Like I see something and just shoot it straight to like, okay, how like just sift, like I sift something, and I don't gather enough before I sift stuff, which is weird. I just like immediately sift so many things. At least that's sort of how it feels, if that sort of makes sense. Um, and like maybe I do have consume higher up, but it feels like I probably have sleep above consume because whenever I'm taking stuff in, it's really hard for me to just absorb. It's very difficult to just like sit and just take in. Or to take in details, to take in anything. But it's a lot easier, like, or whenever I'm alone, I can just like sit there and just like process something in my head for a couple hours even. And at some point, I'm definitely gonna like miss people. But I have somewhat of a high endurance for processing stuff in my head, and I guess it's what I do whenever I'm alone. Or whenever I have like a second that nothing's going on, my head sort of just like shoots straight into itself.
Okay, so the thing is, I can do that too, and I have sleep last. So
Oh, really? Hmm.
yeah, I have sleep last, and I can do that too. So it's not like
Oh, that's cool.
it's not like not like everyone can't do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is just my opinion, so this is bias. My opinion is
Yeah.
you have consumed last, you have sleep third, but that's my biased opinion. So I'm trying to make this like as objective as possible. So um, I,
Yeah.
I I have been narrowing stuff down though. So it's still like, okay, let's see. So I've narrowed you down to, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So I'm down to 14 types now.
Oh.
So it's pretty good. Like we've narrowed it down to 14 types. So I'm trying to figure out like right now which of the 14 you are. Um, you're definitely an intuitive dominant. So is there anything here? Yeah, I already put you as intuitive, as savior intuition. I don't have you for savior feeling or thinking because it seems like you're using both actually, and that's kind of like where Dave and Shan were kind of like saying to you that you were using a lot of NT. You do use a lot of NT actually, even though
Yeah.
you use a lot of NF also, and so you're using
Yeah.
a lot of both. That's why it's like confusing, right? Um,
Yeah.
so you're definitely either one or the other. Like you're either an NT. Now, if you're an NT, you're not an ENFJ then, right? So or yeah. Because let's see, the NT of ENFJ is, what is it? NI and TI. So that would be sleep. So that would make you sleep first. But you don't have sleep first. You're not an IP, right?
Yeah.
Or you're not an INTJ either. So
I mean, like, it's weird because I do see myself as having a very strong NT part of me. Like, if it were up to me to, like, say automatically, like, the two uh, sort of animal, like, coiny things or whatever I, like, most align with, I would go NFNT, would be my, like, guess of myself or something.
yeah. Yeah. But
Which that wouldn't make sense because it would, like, make me blast sleep. But I also don't think that I personally don't think that the SFNT and like all those things necessarily like reflect type because they all like look really different because there's certain types that like I know someone who's SF last that looks like SF first. So like Like, do you know, like Monica Gill?
Yeah, no, yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, because you interviewed her.
Yeah,
Like, yeah. Like, see, she seems to have a lot of SF in general. Like, she has that really cool popularity part of her. But
yeah,
according to the like stack, she would be SF last. Um, and so, like, to me, like, I guess I find those like I think that I see that she is sleep last, but it doesn't look like she has SF last from like a stereotypical like sense of it. So I don't know. It's like I don't, I guess, think that in order that like I have to be like savior NT, like the NT animal to necessarily have a lot of NT going on, because and I guess in my assessment of like what's probably happening is I feel like I flip into sleep mode a lot, and I take my sleep mode, or actually could I share like Monica's analysis of me, because I've actually talked to her,
sure,
and
sure.
in in our like Zoom call, like we thought that we would end up really relating because like we're supposed to be type twins. And we like looked alike and stuff, and that was really cool. But then we're like, oh wait, we don't process the same. And she was confused also because she noticed there was a lot of NT going on in me. But she also noticed that the NT I had was a 100% different orientation than hers. And I noticed it too.
Yeah, 'cause
Because she actually saw that it looked like I was drawing up my NT out of like inside of me, out of a sleep that I'd already processed, and
yeah,
just projecting sleep into my blast somehow.
yeah,
Um, and that's exactly what it feels like. And so when she explained it in those terms, that really resonated with me. Um, and like according to Dave's system, like that shouldn't be possible or whatever, but I think that that's what's happening from my viewpoint. Um, because I'm 100% sure that like the thinking that I have is like coming from this like internal place, I guess. Um, so, and like I'm like less like maybe I have NE or something. So I don't know. Like I'm less certain about NE and I, even though I probably have NI. But yeah, I don't know. Like does that kind of make sense? Like that's sort of how I view it, and it like is confusing to me too.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm definitely like still confused right now because I know what you're saying, and like if I'm just going by feel, then definitely you and Monica are not close at all. Like you're completely different people. Like because I've interviewed her already,
Yeah.
so like it's like her communication style is more similar to mine because I have the same functions as her,
Hmm. Oh
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So like we pretty much have the same. I think we have the same animals actually. Yeah, yeah, we have the same animals.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, we have the exact same animals except she's an ESTJ. I'm an ENFP, right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but like
Oh.
I'm doing my best to make it like objective. So like I need to get like solid like like can you see me? You kind of froze. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I need to get like solid sensory.
Oh, I had to plug in my phone for a sec. That's all right.
Oh yeah, no worries.
Hope that doesn't mess up.
Yeah, that's fine. No, because I need
Okay.
to get like solid sensory proof that before I can like eliminate something, it has to be like a solid sensory proof. Like I can't just be like, oh, it feels that way. It feels that way. Like it has to be like a solid
Okay.
a solid proof, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like so I did narrow it down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 so far. Um,
Oh.
let's see if we can like kill off some of these things. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10,
Hmm.
14. Sorry, 14. So there's 14. So I need to get
Okay.
rid of some of these stuff. Um,
Yeah.
because it's there's some I have some boxes here where I seriously cannot prove like um I guess I can prove play blast or blast play or yeah that's definitely a savior. So you're not a mope. So I'll take that out. Uh, yeah. Um, okay.
So
So
many people find me to be an introvert though,
where?
which is most people in my life uh see me as an introvert.
maybe the people you're hanging out with are more extroverted than you. Like,
Many introverts see me as more introverted. Huh? Hmm?
no, I'm saying like maybe the people you know, like maybe they're more extroverted than you. I don't know. But
Some of them, but also a lot of people who are more introverted than me actually are view me as an introvert. But I don't know. Yeah, like I would say more often it's like the play, blast, consume, sleeps definitely see me as an introvert. But other people might see me as like sleep, consume. People tend to see me as more extroverted than them, though.
yeah. Well,
I don't know.
the Mo people.
Some of them see me as the same.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to say because like there's different moments, right? My sister, for example, my youngest sister, she looks like a mope, right? Like she has a sleepy face, you know. But like there are times when there are times when she's super hyper and she's talking nonstop, right? So it's like there's different moments, but like
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going with
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, no, but like to me it's obvious you're play blast or blast play. That's a no brainer. I think a lot of people already kind of figured it out. Like it's obvious. I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure I'm not the only one that have said this. So it's like it's not like one person's opinion, right? Or so
Yeah.
um play consume. No, you're not play consume or blast sleep either. So those two, okay, those two are out.
Okay.
Um you definitely
Not
have
blast sleep.
no, you're not blast sleep. No, you're play blast or blast play for sure.
Okay.
100%. Like that one is not. There's no denying that. You definitely have masculine T. Now
Okay.
I don't know if it's TIT. That's the thing. So that's the thing. Because like if you have NI, you can still technically be an ENTJ, right? So technically. So and again, I'm not gonna rule anything out. So I have to figure out some other stuff here.
Yeah.
I need to think of a clever question to ask
Well,
you.
yeah. Well, the only thing is, like, I guess, like, do you think that, like, I guess the way that I see it, I think that, like, it is self-evident to the person a lot of times, the orientation of their feeling and their thinking.
Yeah.
Because, like, what don't we tend to, like, know in ourselves, like, where it's coming from? Like, to feel which pull is going which direction?
Uh, I would agree. Yes. But like
Because, like,
we're talking logically right now though. That's a problem, right? So
oh, yeah, okay.
it's like it's not really like a logical thing. Like feeling is not a logical thing. So
Yeah.
logically what you're
Or
saying.
I guess, yeah. I guess it's tricky because I see it in a little bit more of a, um, oh, sorry, I'm getting a call. I'm just gonna, here we go.
Sure. Okay. How do
Chaos.
when when people tell you something like, do you have any examples of like someone told you like a sad story or like a really messed up story, and then how did you feel?
Yeah.
Okay, and like do you have an example of that? Like someone told you a messed up story
Yeah.
or like a sad
I
story,
mean, yeah.
and
I've
then,
definitely talked to some,
and how did you feel when they told you those story?
I've talked to some people recently who've had like a lot of trauma, and it just makes me so sad that like things like that exist that can cause trauma. Like I just wish that I could, but like when that's happening, what I want to do is like talk to them about it and, just like let them know that I'm like there to talk to them about it and to process that with them, I guess. But
But
I also like,
when you went home, what happened next?
when what?
After you went home, did you still feel their feelings when you got home?
Oh, after talking to them?
Yeah, like
Um,
after you went home, did you still feel like let's say they were experiencing trauma and you probably shared the feeling of trauma with them, but did you feel their trauma when you were talking to them, or did you feel it when you got home? Did you still carry it with you?
no. Yeah, as long as I like move to a different emotional environment, like it pretty much goes away. Yeah.
So you don't hold it with you when you go home, like it's gone. Like
Um,
you don't even think about it, it's
yeah,
gone.
I would say so for the most part.
But do
I
you
mean, some things are really sad, like some things that are like super traumatic, I think like stay with you because of how much that just shakes the world around you or something, but like most times no, it doesn't stay with me.
So when you go home, it's gone. It's like a different, depending on what the people around you is like
Yeah, like if I'm going home, like say if I talk to someone who is really sad because of this horrible thing that just happened, and then I'm going home and everybody's affected by that same thing that just happened, like it's going to be a really sad environment. But you know, if I just talk to someone who had a bad day and then I go home and my family's having fun, like it's so easy to just go back home and have fun with them.
Yeah. Okay, I see. Okay. Okay, that doesn't. Okay, that's fine. This is tough. This is so hard. Okay. I'll ask you a few more questions, and then I'm gonna go refer to your videos afterwards, because
Okay.
I have four. What happened?
My phone has been, while I'm charging it, it's been losing battery. So I'm a little worried that it might like fall asleep in the next few minutes. I'm not sure like what's gonna happen there. If that happens, I can like quickly go to my computer though. I don't know if that would mess up with the
How many
video
percent? How many percentage is your battery left? How many percentage is your battery left? Like how many percent left in your battery?
It was at 11 when I started charging it a few minutes ago, and now it's at 3%.
Oh, okay. No, we need to wrap it up then. And then I'm gonna go watch your videos, and then I'll get together with Binyamin then, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is so hard. Okay. Well, like the cool thing about you though is like you're definitely hard to type. Like you're hard to get. You're hard to narrow down to a specific type. You know, the obvious one right now is EJ.
Mm-hmm.
You're very NT and also some NF. That's obvious to me. Okay. Are you still there? Oh, shoot. Okay, so her battery died. So I'm gonna wrap up this interview.
Oh, I'm still here. That's weird.
Oh, you're still here. Your video died.
Oh, the video died. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, no worries. So we'll just wrap it up right now, Grace. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go watch your videos, and then I'll have to get back to you after I watch those videos, because I need to get more information right now, and I'm like, I'm stumped. Like I narrowed you down to those 14, and I'm pretty sure you're one of the 14, but I don't know which one. So, and again, I don't want to make assumptions. So, anyways, thanks for doing the talk again, and it's good to see you again. It's been a while.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Kendrick.
All right, so I'm gonna pause the recording. Hi everyone, welcome back. I just finished interviewing Grace, and what I'm doing right now is I'm just showing you kind of the cross checks, and this is the board where I've eliminated all the possible types that Grace is not and what Grace might be. So as you can see, I've narrowed it down to 8 different types here. They're all EJs, which I'll go over in just a second. But so far, after interviewing Grace, so interviewing her is more like using play to gather information from someone. And after I finish going through this board, I'll be watching her videos that she sent to Dave and Shan that she has on YouTube. So that's going to be now me using Consume to finish up getting all the information for the board here. And if I can't prove anything, I'm not going to force it. Okay, so as you can see, we have Fe-Ni. So we have ENFJ as one of the potential candidates for her type. We also have Te-Ni, which is ENTJ. We have Fe-Ni, which would be a jumper ESFJ type. And finally, we have Te-Ne, which is the jumper ESTJ type. Now, Grace was typed as Te-Ne by Dave and Shan. And I thought it was a mistype, but now that I'm narrowing down her type, it's actually one of the candidates. So we'll find out in just a second if she's really Te-Ne or if she's not. So just going down the list here, she kept talking about people. It was people. Like the whole interview was people. And even when I talk to her, it's always about people. So clearly, she's either an IP or EJ. So she's a decider. And what that means is that she has either her tribe or self-function at the very top and at the very bottom of her function stack. Now, the reason why, anyways, moving on to the next one. So the reason why I put tribe as her savior is because whenever she would talk about the tribe, it would be so smooth, it would be so fluid, and she would go on like a machine gun talking about other people and their stories and whatnot. But whenever we got to the topic of her own identity, her own convictions, and her beliefs, she would get really weird and really apprehensive and really secretive. So she did not want to share those information, and when she did, it was very reluctant. And even when she did share it, not only was she reluctant, she was also very abstract. Like she was not clear at all. Like she didn't want to specify anything about her identity or her beliefs. Did she have organize over gather? Now this one was a little bit hard, but from what I can tell, she was really focusing internally on her known information. Like she would not read any books. Like she was peacocking during the interview, and she was proud of it that she read a Carl Jung book. But typically she would just bang blocks inside her own head. So actually, with that information in mind, we can actually eliminate this one. So she's not an ESFJ or an ESTJ. Okay, because she does not gather new information. She gets her information from the tribe or by just banging blocks inside her own head. So we've narrowed her down into 4 types now, which is ENTJ or ENFJ. And we'll find out which one she is in just a second. Did she have feeling over thinking or thinking over feeling? This one was kind of hard, and I don't have enough information on this right now. So I'm going to leave it blank for now, and I'm going to go watch those videos that she sent to Dave and Shan. But for now, I'll leave it blank. She was definitely an intuitive. She was terrible at providing sensory detail. Like everything was abstract, everything was vague and generalized. So it was not something that was very sensory clear. As a matter of fact, I actually put ST reporter as her demon. If she's last at anything, it's definitely her ST. Her ST is her very last, what do you call it? Animal. Yeah. Now, she definitely had Savior NT and NF. I did feel a little bit more NT, but, it could just be because we're trying to figure out her type, right? So moving down here, FI or TE. Now, I couldn't figure out if she had FI or TE. I really wanted to type her as an ENFJ, but again, she was using some FI and some TE during our interview, so I wasn't quite sure. Not saying that she wasn't using TI or FE, she definitely was, but I saw her using all 4, which is fine because we all have all the different functions. It's just that which one do we prefer to use more? And I just did not get enough evidence which one of these she was using more. So I'll leave it blank for the time being, and I'll go watch her videos and see which one it could possibly be. Observer functions, SI or NE. I don't think she had either SI or NE. It seems like she was using NI a lot. So definitely using NI a lot. So I'll put S here, but I can't really prove like she wasn't using NE. So that means she's not using SI. Okay. So I guess from just a cross-check purpose, because she wasn't using NE, she's definitely not using SI. So she's using SE and NI. But the NI was more apparent, so I'm going to leave the S. I'll leave this as the savior. She definitely had play savior. She was using a lot of play, but it could be just because we were talking, so it made a lot of sense. Now, I'm going to be watching her video shortly, so we'll figure out how strong her blast is. But she definitely had Demon Consume, so automatically she would have Savior Blast. Well, not automatically, but, it was quite obvious, though, that she had Play Blast or Blast Play in the top 2. Like, it seems like she did not have trouble explaining herself, and she did not have trouble communicating with the tribe. So definitely a Play Blast kind of person. Definitely not Sleep Consume. Sexual modalities. The only thing I can prove is she definitely had feminine sensory. Like when it came to the facts and the details and numbers, she was quite abstract about it. Like she just couldn't pinpoint anything to me directly. So I'm gonna leave that as feminine. Now, when it comes to the decider, from what I can tell, she had masculine thinking. I just couldn't tell if her thinking was internally or externally. So I'm going to leave it blank in the meantime. So with this 4 different types narrowed down, it's time to watch her videos and figure out to see which one she could possibly be. So I'm gonna just go over to the window right now and share that window instead. Okay, so give me 1 second as I pull it up. Okay. All right, so here we go. We're gonna watch her first video together, and we'll see if we can get any clues if she's using TE or FI or FE or what's the other one? NI, right?
Shan, hello. I will introduce myself briefly. I'm Grace Sunderland, 20 years old, currently a college student, staying at home for the summer here. I've really been enjoying your class so far, so thank you so much for all of the videos that you've made and the wisdom that you've shared. It has been huge for me to realize everything. So, yeah. Let's see. I think one of your questions was, what does your daily life look like? Or like, what's your daily routine? So for that, this summer, I'm staying at home. So, you know, during the rest of the times of year, I'm at school and my schedule looks very different. I don't really consider summer to be like normal. It feels like a weird blip in reality for a second. I guess this piece of life doesn't feel like the best or most natural. But it is a time that has to happen. So let's see, my routine currently is, you know, get up, help out around the house, do my PCA thing. So I'm a PCA, which is stands for personal care assistant. Basically what that is I'm working with kids with special needs, almost like a babysitter, but it's like through the state. The state pays me for that, and I'm employed by the parents of these children. One of the children that I work with is my own brother, so I'm sort of helping out my mom a lot of the time at home. So it's very an interesting dynamic to be the daughter and sister, but also in this worker role.
So just one thing I'm noticing is that she seems to have very soft hands when she's moving. So that's kind of like an indicator that she has feminine with the tribe. But, you know, that's just, I mean, we've only been watching 2 minutes, so we'll keep watching and see if we can get more evidence from this video and also the next video.
With my brother. So that has been a very interesting dynamic that's been sort of tricky. But yeah, so what I'll do is I'll, you know, drive my brother's places and sort of make foods around the house or whatever. Just make foods and clean up around the house or whatever. But sometimes there's gaps where there's not really anything to do. A lot of times for hours at a time. Summer is sort of slow paced, so I'll just sort of sit and watch YouTube or whatever. It's so weird because it's definitely part of my daily routine during the summer, but it feels very unnatural almost. It feels not real. It feels kind of like a waste of time. Definitely like a waste of time. I get very frustrated, sort of, that I'm doing it because I don't really care, and I don't know why it's contributing to my life. It isn't. But yeah, so that's sort of how I feel about the summer. Sort of a weird routine. I try to be as helpful as I can, but a lot of times because of this weird conflicting role of am I the daughter right now, am I the worker, that can be really stressful. And a lot of times, honestly, I felt like I've been failing. I feel like I've been failing my parents. I've been failing to be, a productive person. I've been failing to do everything right. I make a lot of mistakes. I don't always.
So I don't know if this is enough evidence, like, 'cause I've only been watching for like 4 minutes, but it seems like she can use sleep. Now I did type her as play blast or blast play, so this could mean that she has sleep as her third animal. So I'm gonna keep that in the back of my head right now, that she could possibly be consumed last, but we'll find out as we watch more of the video.
Always pay attention in the ways that I should, and I realized that I'm not doing things perfectly, and a lot of times I will get very disappointed by that, and sort of respond to that by getting very quiet and gone and include myself every now and then. Just with the weight of that, it just feels so strange right now. So that's the summer. This weird little time frame. During the school year, I think things flow a lot better. It feels natural. It feels balanced. And I feel like I'm really contributing. And so what that looks like is when I'm at school, I'll get up around 8 or something. If I get up a little bit earlier and have some time, I'll sort of just sit in bed and sort of mull over some concepts residual from the day before, try to solidify some things I've been wondering about, stuff like that. I'll get ready, and then I'll, head to the cafeteria, get breakfast, and go to class. Class is interesting. It's a very sleepy time of day, so sometimes it's enjoyable, sometimes you just get through it. I really enjoy when I'm taking classes with my friends, because you kind of get to chit chat with them during the breaks. The afternoons are great, because usually classes sort of finish around the afternoon time, and I just sort of get to hang out with some of my friends. One of my best friends right now, she is a really fun person to hang out with. I feel like we can really contribute to each other. We have really deep conversations. I do homework with her. It's nice because kind of at that point where we can coexist, and I'm not scared of messing up or annoying her too much. It's sort of my biggest fear in life. I've always been very scared of annoying people. And my daily life, I think, is very characterized by whether or not I feel like I'm annoying people or failing them during the day, because my goal is that I want to make people's days better. I want to spend time with them, do whatever I can for them. I don't think I'm, any crazy kind of martyr or anything like that. I don't, go out of my way and absolutely sabotage myself. I don't think, but I do. I feel like I am completely defined by my relationships with others, and so if I'm making their days better, I feel like it's a good day. But if I get the sense that I've annoyed someone or made a mistake that takes away from the great dynamic they had going on that day, or I do something wrong, that's really tricky, and that makes things a little bit difficult to get through. And in the evenings, I'll sometimes do a little bit more homework, sometimes just hang out with my friends. We'll go out for dinner at a cheap place. we're all college students, you know. And head back. I'll usually have another few chit chats with my friends, my roommates. I'll chat with whoever's around, and I just really enjoy learning more about people. And my ideal day is having conversations with people where they're sharing their lives with me, and I can sort of give them advice and make them feel very emotionally supported. I'm hoping to be a counselor. Or like a therapist. That's what I'm studying right now, and I'm hoping one day to be able to be that person for all of my clients, where they can talk to me and feel safe and feel understood, and maybe I can help them. There is a bug in my hair, and maybe help them figure out what's going on in their lives and their dynamics and how to get to a better spot. So yeah, that's sort of my day. I tend to really enjoy the flow of my day in college, because there's this balance of, yes, I am being productive. I get homework done, I get work done, but I don't feel overwhelmed and drained because I'm hanging out with my friends. And when I do hang out with my friends, it's very energizing. In times that I don't have people almost as fuel, my productivity decreases, and it sort of causes guilt, and it will sort of be a downward spiral, I guess. Something that I've definitely noticed. And on that note, I think you guys had a question about like what is the time in your life that you felt like was the most, I forget what you guys called it, the most difficult, the most scary or something. And I got the sense that you were saying the most anxiety provoking. But I'm gonna go with now what was the most difficult, because I think that might show you a little bit of how I work, maybe, because I realized some things through this about how my own brain works that were huge to me, that I felt like finally made sense of dynamics that had been going on for years. So in order to do that, I should probably start off with me as a child, if that's okay. I know I'm going a little bit too far back here, but I think this gives context into how I developed what went wrong and how that was corrected. So my mom has told me that, as a baby, I was the kind of kid who just was very happy, giggly, whatever. I would sometimes cry, as all children do, but she thought it was so funny because all she had to do was smile at me, and I would start laughing my head off and forget that I was sad. And apparently my emotions have always been that malleable. And I guess I've just always been easy to emotionally redirect and please. And that's sort of been a blessing and a curse. So as I got older, the first few years of life are great because you have all these great interactions with people. You know that you're good for people. You know that all of these adults enjoy being around you. You haven't really messed up yet, And then, I distinctly remember this time when I was in school or something. I was in a reading room, and at this time I had this attitude of, everyone was sort of a friend, and we could all just sort of enjoy each other, and I wasn't scared of messing up. But I think I asked a random lady if I could have a sip of the orange juice. At the time I didn't realize it. Don't do that. Don't ask strangers for things. And I saw that she was sort of made uncomfortable by that, and my parents were uncomfortable that their child asked that, and I felt so bad about it. That was the first time I ever realized how much responsibility I have to make people to make people feel okay. Before that, I just assumed I would make people feel good.
Okay, so that statement that just Grace said, I guess I mean, this is not enough evidence, but um, it seems like it's at a young age she figured out very quickly what made someone else feel uncomfortable and what someone else and that it was wrong to make other people feel uncomfortable and that it's her duty to make people feel not uncomfortable. So again, this is just like a little bit of a hint, I guess you could say. But we'll find out in a second. Well, not a second. Like as we watch this video, see if there's any more evidence of her possibly using Fe over Te. Haven't seen any Te on this video yet, but during the interview she did use some Te. So we'll keep watching and see if we can find any more evidence.
And I realized then how much I could mess that up and how bad that could be, and how much, I guess, guilt that could cause. And I didn't want to do that again, But lo and behold, that is a part of life, which I didn't realize at the time. I thought there was something very wrong with me. I, went to school. I went to a private school. There were very few people. And I would approach a lot of friends, and sometimes they didn't want to hang out with me. Sometimes they were annoying, maybe, or maybe they were just shy and not in the mood. And I was so worried that I did something wrong. They didn't want to be my friend. And years of this pattern continuing. I mean, I was weird. I was super weird. I didn't want to talk about the same things other kids did. I wanted to talk about things like, do you think, why is it that people get married for life and animals don't? What is love? And what, I would just wonder about things like how does this work? And I would just trace over all of these things about reality that I until I could make sense of it, and other kids didn't really seem to have that need to sort of contemplate what things meant and stuff, which was totally fine. I didn't mind that, but I think I weirded them out a little bit. I wasn't really normal at all. I didn't really know how to do normal things. I just knew how to talk about concepts and stuff. So yeah, that continued for a few years, to the point where there was definitely a lot of relationship drama. I was really close friends with girls. It got to be bad, and I left my private school around after 7th grade, and 8th grade began homeschooling. And I was so excited. I thought that I would have a good group of friends that I could be good for. But again, these dynamics continued, and I felt like I was hurting people because I wasn't a part of certain cliques.
Okay, so I'm just minimizing the video a little bit because I'm gonna bring up the little chart that we're using to cross-check her. I'm just getting puzzled now by some of the stuff she's saying. So I'm wondering if I made a mistake somewhere. So I'm just gonna go double check while I'm listening to her tell her story about her upbringing.
We had a homeschool co-op where the homeschoolers sort of would meet to congregate once a week. There were 20 of us. So homeschoolers were weird dynamics going on. So there were cliques around people who loved Pride and Prejudice. Okay, weird stuff. And looking back on that, I don't see why that would be inherently valuable. Who cares? But I thought that there was something wrong with me, that I wasn't the same kind of person as them, and maybe wasn't on the same wavelength. And even though we were all weird, I was like a different kind of weird, and I couldn't make them happy. I couldn't be a good friend. And I became convinced that there was something deeply wrong with me, and I didn't deserve to be around people. There would be days that I was so convinced of that, that I would just sort of sit in my room and just feel how bad that was. And I wanted to process. My parents would encourage me to, sit there and think about what matters to me. And I'm like, I don't know what matters. Like, what do you mean? Like, I just need to know how to be a better friend with them. I need to know what's wrong with me. What is wrong with me that I can't be a good friend, that people don't want to be around me? Like, why? And I would get, oh my word, I would freak out about this so much. So this is, I've finally gotten up to the point in my life where this was the time of life where I was suffering more than ever. I had like periods of this happening.
Again, this is just more proof that she's an EJ and her obsession is people. Yeah, she definitely she definitely has play savior. She is using sleep pretty well, and she is blasting right now. So, and her blast seems quite, it's okay. It's pretty good too. So it's definitely, the only thing I can prove is probably consume less, but it's tough. But anyways, we'll keep going.
In 7th grade, there was one bout of it, and I would go home and cry every night because I was so worried that I would never have good friends, and I couldn't be a good friend. In 11th grade, it actually turned more into, rather than emotional depression, and I didn't really feel anything. I didn't really have any energy, and because I didn't really have anything to do, I was not getting out more than once a week. I felt very suffocated, and it was almost like this inertia principle of an object at rest tends to stay at rest. It just almost became this black hole of becoming more and more and more isolated, and losing so much energy. And that was so tricky. I would tell my mom at this point, I felt so bad because I was like telling my mom all the time how painful this all felt. And it didn't seem like other people felt all this weird responsibility and this weird need to be a great friend. But I just kept telling her, I'm like, what is wrong with me? All I want is to have impact on people. That's all I've ever wanted. And I'm trying to impact people so much, but it seems like I can't. And there's something wrong with me, and I have to figure out what is wrong with me, that I can't help people. I can't impact them. I can't make their lives better. So what is the point of hanging out with people if I'm going to ruin their lives? If they're going to think I'm annoying? Like, I want to hang out with them, but I don't deserve that. I'm not making anything better for them. So that was really something that was intense then. I felt that most of the time, but then, when I would get out and socialize with people and I felt like we had a good vibe going on or whatever, I was like, oh my word, I've got energy now. What the heck? That was so quick. So I was just really energized by going out and hanging out with people and feeling like I could benefit them and like we had a good thing going on, and feeling that in myself, that almost like I was allowed to exist. I almost felt like when I was.
I'm not sure if this is exactly what I'm seeing, but it seems like her feelings are also feminine. Like she seems to have feminine feelings, which would make sense if she had masculine thinking. So masculine thinking, feminine feelings, because it seems like her emotional state changes pretty quickly. Um, Again, that's not enough to help us eliminate anything from the board, because we need to figure out if her thinking is internal or external. But that's so far kind of what that last clip kind of just proved.
Contributing to people's lives, I didn't even understand what I was doing. I would even think like, why do I exist? I wasn't ever suicidal, but it was very philosophically, I don't understand the purpose of me being here. Like, what am I going to do? Like, hang out and read, or like, what am I going to do with myself? But because of that, I was really forced to look into my worldview. I got really into what I thought on things like theology, where I stood on that. I got into psychology, and tried to understand my own patterns as much as I could. And that gave me an appreciation for those things that made essay writing go well in school. It's helped me to be a good student, and really hone in on what I'm thinking, and become more intimate with my background contemplations, I guess. So there was that. So the big takeaway that I had from that time of intense sort of suffering in my life, or whatever you want to call that, was realizing that I had this energy shift in that I needed people, but I needed to figure out what was wrong with me, and encountering things like
So one thing I'm noticing in this video is that she's not very high energy in this video, because when I interviewed her earlier, she was more like high energy. So I don't know where she is at when she's making this video. It seems like she was more in a sleep state. So that's just a little bit of observation I'm making.
Psychology and even personality. It's been so helpful to me to understand dynamics that where I thought I was the problem, and realizing that it was huge to me to realize that other people think differently than I do. Other people deal with emotions differently than I do. And I stopped feeling as much guilt around those things. I used to think if people didn't want my help, that I was not helpful enough. And they were crying and I couldn't comfort them or console them. I thought there was something wrong with me. And I felt like if other people didn't want to comfort me when I was not doing so well and needed them, that I didn't deserve to be comforted. And if someone else didn't have that urge to comfort me, I was doing something wrong. But I realize now.
She's talking about comforting people, and people with TE, I don't know how they would comfort people. It's more like an FE thing, like. Anyways, that's just because I have TE, and like, if something happens to me that made me upset, I wouldn't want people to comfort me. I'd rather retreat back and spend some time by myself. Let it have me think about what happened. Let it process. But I don't want anyone to make me feel better. I don't want anyone to comfort me. So for her to really want to comfort people, that's very FE. Like I actually find people trying to comfort you quite annoying. Like I'm not saying Grace is annoying, but I'm just saying like, the act of trying to comfort someone or someone trying to comfort me is quite annoying. And for her to obsess over this is clearly a very FE thing. But we'll finish this video first and we'll watch the next one. But I'm starting to think she's more FE than TE.
In my family especially, like, oh, that's just the way that they're dealing with their pain. That's okay. I'm not a bad person because I didn't strike a chord with them. I can't make them feel better just because I want to make them feel better. Some of it is on them. And so I felt a lot less guilt for that. But I definitely have, heaven still do deal with that, and I do feel a lot of guilt, but at least I'm more aware now of the fact that there's other things going on, and it's not all a reflection on me being a horrible person, So I'm sorry, I've sort of been repeating the same thing over and over here.
Repeating the same thing over and over again, so clearly going over her known information.
I might not be contributing a lot more content, but I really just wanted to emphasize that is the pattern that my life has taken that I've been most aware of, being so excited to engage with people, to being afraid that I couldn't do that well, and having a new sort of confidence now, knowing that it's not all my fault and it's not all something I'm doing wrong. And yes, that's going to be the pitfall that I always take. I'm always going to sort of go back into that state of, almost depression, overwhelmed when I feel like I'm not good enough for other people. Feel like I can't be a good friend. Feel like I'm not engaging well. But that's not the truth always. And I'm realizing that I need to really examine that and go, what else is there? Like, why might I not be the problem? And how can I feel more free to be more helpful to people instead of getting stuck in this quicksand of my own fear of my inability to help people, my fear of being a failure. Because all that does is takes more energy away from me. Where I realize
she's obsessing over energy. This is not the first time she brought it up in this video, which kind of makes me think if she's energy dominant and not info dominant. I mean, she's said it twice already in this video. So again, we do have one more video of her after this, and we'll figure out if she is info dominant or energy dominant.
I'm not a failure. I'm more equipped to actually help people better. So that's been the huge realization that I've been trying to remind myself of, that I'm still working on, for sure. And hopefully in a few decades, it'll sort itself out. But yeah, that's where I'm at on that. Sorry, I'm a little bit repetitive on that, but that's just sort of been my life theme. So yeah, I think I'm about half an hour in now, so I'll quit here and move on to something.
Okay, so Grace was very apologetic in her video, making it seem like she's, again, feminine with the tribe. I'm just going to look over the cross-checks here. It seems like, trying to think now here. If I were to guess right now, just based on what I've seen so far, it would seem like Grace has... that Grace is energy dominant and that she would have sleep as her third in her function stack, but or animal stack. So we'll watch this next video and we'll find out.
So it's been like about a month since part 1 of my video.
So she seems definitely more high energy in this second video, so we'll find out more.
Yeah, a lot of things have changed. I'm in Arizona now. I'm actually back at school. Well, this week I'm staying with my grandma for Labor Day weekend. So yeah, things have definitely changed. I'm figuring out a lot more of what an ideal flow state is. So I thought this is perfect timing to talk about sort of my ideal day, because it wasn't as easy to think of that before, and now it is. Also, I apologize. I hope I'm not missing anything. I actually made this video like a half hour ago, but the camera, like my phone ran out of storage, and so I actually finished the video, but none of it like had recorded.
So it sounds like she has some sensory tidal wave there. So I guess that would mean that her sensory would be a demon,
which was very frustrating. So I'm gonna try to say what I did before or something like that, but we'll see. I'm just gonna let it sort of come. So yeah, I'm sort of realizing.
Just a heads up too. So you might say, oh, that's just one example of her possibly having sensory demon. But actually, before and after I interviewed Grace, her battery died. So again, and then she was having trouble plugging in her phone and getting the phone charged during her interview. So yeah, clearly having issues with sensory.
What a flow state for me is more like, or what I don't know, what's ideal.
So, you know, a lot of times I'm sort of used to this feeling of being frantic almost, this unrest of I'm gonna mess up. And I don't trust myself. I don't trust myself to not mess up. So I'm basically waiting on anyone to tell me that I'm not messing up because I can't determine that. Even though I want to, and I've noticed the times that happens, I'm alone and I feel scared to be alone. And it's been a lot of times and I feel like it's pointless and scary and why am I doing this? And it feels like there's nothing to take hold of or ground in. So I realized yesterday, I was just sort of sitting in my room, like that yesterday morning I'd been sort of frantic and stressed and worried that I was like, I don't know, I was just like worried that like I would be around people and, you know, annoy them and mess with them, and I wasn't prepared to go out and be anything for anybody, so why go out at all, but why stay in it all, and just, you know, all of that stress for no reason. It just happens all the time. And you know, and I guess I also have what people might call social anxiety or something. I've been like unofficially diagnosed with that by a therapist. So, you know, whatever that even means, something that is always stressful. But it was really cool because yesterday that had sort of faded and I was sitting in my room and just feeling like, wow, okay, like, wow, I trust myself. Whoa, this is cool. I felt like a sense of confidence and ability to just sit there and exist. You know, I was sitting there and, you know, just thinking like, yeah, yeah, well, this is nice. So, yeah, I can pretty much trust whatever I want right now. Yeah, like, I know stuff. Like, I'm cool here. So if I go out and try to do anything, like, I know what I'm doing. Or like that sense of like confidence or trust or whatever you want to call it. And it was like very straightforward and like, it's nice because it doesn't feel emotional.
She's really weird with her identity, which I guess is pretty apparent too during the interview earlier.
It's like when I'm alone, like as emotional as I am, when I'm emotional, when I'm alone, it's like a sign that I'm not, I don't know what you call it. Like it's like a sign that like something's not letting me have space or something. It's not letting me like shut down. Because if I'm emotional and I'm alone, it's because I'm like worried about not being good for people, and that's intruding on my own ability to like think or have space or whatever. And yeah, I actually got to like just think, and it made all the times I was interacting with other people feel like so much better, and like I wasn't worried about messing up. I'm like, wait, I got this, what? And I'm realizing how this changed because like when I was in high school, when I was spending all this time alone, I didn't trust myself to be alone, so I'm like, well, what am I doing here alone? Like, this is stupid. Like, what am I doing? This is a waste of my time. But I also can't go out there because I don't trust myself enough to be good enough for anybody. So why leave? Why stay? Why do anything? There's no point to anything. This is stupid. Like, and it was that same voice that it was that voice of like, it was like confidence that, it was like confidence in the wrong thing. It was like confidence that I was messing up, or like confidence that I couldn't trust myself or something. I don't know if that even makes sense. But now it's like confidence that like, wait, I actually know what the heck I'm doing. Sweet. You know, it used to take like 10 minutes for me to like deprogram something like that. Like, okay, say I was like in an assembly line once and like I messed something up and had to go like wash my hands because I couldn't like I touched like my clothes and I couldn't touch the food, contaminate it or something. And I sort of messed with this assembly line and I'm like, oh no, everyone's gonna be so annoyed and I had to run down the hall, and this lady gave me a look, and I'm like, great, I'm messing up again. And I had to take like literally 10 minutes of thinking of nothing else but that to deprogram the thing and go, wait, no, that's okay. Like, I couldn't have controlled that. It's okay to make mistakes. Like, okay, yeah. So I don't have to feel guilty and have this ruin my day. But it took me 10 minutes to process.
Yeah, she talked about control a little bit, so maybe some hint that savior control. So we'll keep watching and see if we can find more evidence of that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess technically she would already be a control savior if she has NI. So yeah, that's.
And you know, I'm thinking that like being, you know, back in high school when I was spending all that time with myself, it forced me to at least become intimate with the part of me that was intensely sure of something. And as hard as that was at the time, because it wasn't really my friend, I didn't trust that, it sort of set up the structure for me to have enough access to it.
Okay, so I'm going to pause the sharing for a second.
And as long as I can...
All right, so we're back, and we're going to resume recording.
Work on it.
Take a quick break.
So here we go. That works for me, like is on, like...
I was just thinking, actually, before we continue the video, I think one good question to ask here is, does Grace come across as someone that would take a big risk, or is she someone that would be more conservative as a person? And from what I can see, that Grace definitely seems like, just the vibe she's giving off, that she is on the conservative side, that she's not someone that would take a big risk. She's someone that would play things safe and make sure that everything is, you know, appropriate. I mean, that's just the vibe I'm getting from Grace, interviewing her earlier and watching these videos. Okay, so we'll continue watching the videos again.
It's with me. It's like got my back and is actually helping me instead of pulling me down into this, you know, trap. It's great. And I'm realizing now, like, I used to think that all that time spent, like 3 years spent like in my room alone, was like a waste, and I didn't really understand why I would look back at that and feel sad, like I wasted 3 years of my life. Like during that time, I socialized like maybe 3 times seriously, like had good interact.
So watching Grace's video right now and the previous one, I did not see, it's tough to say, but I'm not getting much NT on this video we're watching right now.
With people out, like outside my family or whatever, and I realized, like, man, that like it felt like a waste of time. But now I know that being forced to be with that part of myself, like I'm aware of it in a way that it, like, if I just let this keep happening, something good's gonna happen. Like, because for the past couple of days here, I've actually like had this sense of confidence where it's almost this like cycle back and forth. But it used to be like, oh, they're mad at me, I shouldn't trust myself. Well, I can't trust myself to be good for them, so why be with them? Why be with me? Why be with anything? But the system is the same, and it's just working in reverse now. So now it's like I'm like, hey, I know exactly why I did that. So even if you are upset with me because you don't think I did it right for you, like I know that I can trust it because I made that decision. I chose that right. And even if I didn't choose it right, like I did everything I could, and that's enough. And I think that is good for you. And even if you are upset with me right now, like, hey, I have something to stand on here. And I'm not going to let that get to me. It's not working in reverse. It's working the other way around. And that is so stinking cool. And so anyway, the point of all this is to say, my ideal day is that. My ideal day is to sort of live from this place where I don't want to spend a bunch of time alone. Like, I still, I guess, don't see the point in that. It's not fun. It's not productive, but at least I see that it serves a purpose, and it's not the end of the world. I'm not scared of it as much. And again, like, this is just a good, healthy flow state I'm in right now. I'm in a great mindset. It's not going to be like this always. I'm still going to have those, I'm going to fall into the same patterns of thinking that aren't good. But, at least recording this now, I'm going to want to look at this and at least remember that, hey, like, I could trust myself now. I don't know. But yeah, I want to, like, feel like I can, I'd want to spend like 90% of my day like just hanging out with people, and talking to them and helping them. I want to conceptualize things. I want to be a therapist, and I'd love to, like, I just love being able to talk to people, slowly get a sense of their entire life and just sort of like conceptualize what their life is like, see their patterns, and be able to speak into that and help them figure out what's going on, prompt them to get to where they need to be, get to a better state of mind. And it's just really nice. Every time I like, I don't really counsel my friends, but the times I give them advice and, I don't know, just have a good conversation with them, and they feel like I've provided insight into their lives somehow. I feel like that is a sort of like what I'm made for. And the thing that scares me is what if I don't even trust that the advice I'm giving or the questions I'm asking or anything I'm doing is even good for them. I can't be a good therapist. But if I can approach it all from this mindset of, yes, like, I know what I'm doing, I know that I'm in the right place here, then I'll be able to be of way more help to them and myself, because I won't be living in agony. And not being in agony frees up a lot of mental space to not annoy other people, and so that's sort of the thing. I'd want to spend time doing that. I'd want to probably have that be a part-time job, because at that point, 10 years from now, my ideal time day 10 years from now, would be I'd hopefully like to be married with kids. I mean, I don't have a boyfriend now, so, we'll see how that goes. I really like the idea of, having a husband, hanging out with him a lot. It's kind of cool. But, I'm not really desperate for that or anything yet. I'll just sort of see how that happens.
Not yet.
I definitely want to adopt kids. I might want to have bio kids as well, but I definitely want to adopt kids, just because, the way I see it, if you have energy to devote toward parenting, you can create a child to fill that, and that's cool. But for me, I think, if I have these resources to devote, I want to give that to a child who is looking for a home. Someone who needs a parent can go to someone who wants to be a parent. So yeah, and I'd ideally like be with them part-time, like do part-time like counseling or, coaching or whatever it is. And I'd want to have like my husband do the same thing, I guess. I'd want something like that. Like I'd want him to do some parenting, just 'cause, like, that'd be more ideal for the kids to, I don't know, to get to know both parents equally, I guess. And just for all of us to hang out. But, it's weird to imagine that because I don't even have a boyfriend yet. It's a cool thought. And I definitely want to still hang out with friends, still have fun, like hang out, watch shows with each other, just have lots of good conversations. But I really feel like my purpose is to just hang out with people and just have like deep conversations or whatever. I don't know. And yeah, that's sort of my ideal day. What are the things that I am passionate about that I think are issues in the world? Well, the first thing I think is how we approach mental health. I felt so much, and I sort of want to bridge the gap somewhere. So I came from a church that was pretty like legalistic and.
So the more Grace talks about herself, like her identity, the lower her voice became. I don't know if anyone noticed that. So it's just very interesting. I mean, we already know she's an EJ, but there's just so many evidence for it.
Fundamental, traditional, and my family doesn't believe that, and I definitely don't believe in that. And it's just so tricky because like my best friend, when I was like 15, she lived with like intense OCD. That was like definitely like a psychological disorder, and her church, she just went to them, like her OCD was about a spiritual issue, and so they were all giving her spiritual advice and didn't even understand what OCD was. I didn't know what OCD was, I was like 15, I didn't know any of this, and she didn't get the help she needed from the church, and that sort of scarred her, and she went to a professional therapist who helped her to deal with her OCD and didn't let her know anything spiritual, and that scarred her too, and she's still suffering from the effects of that all like 5 years later. And I mean, not all of that, but some of it. And I saw that, and that really motivated me. Like, I think that what I'm called to do is to be a therapist, a coach, whatever that is. I don't know what that's going to look like, but someone who can integrate sort of a spiritual approach and integrate what we know about psychology and mental health. And I think that's something that I see that lack of integration is really hurting a lot of people, not just people in the church, like so many people. And that's something that I want to sort of.
She's picturing her ideal life, essentially, which I guess you could say is very NF. NFs are, after all, labeled as the idealists. So just take it as you will. It could be a clue that she's very NF.
Bridge the gap between those two is a thought. The other thing that I'm sort of passionate about is I think that like boys not being encouraged to cry is tricky. That really hurts a lot of kids to feel like they're not allowed to have emotions and be real, and I think that prevents a lot of guys from like being like, I don't know, fully human and fully relating to other people. And if they were just accepted for being emotional human beings, just like women are accepted for being like women can, like everyone knows now that women can do anything and we are competent and powerful. And so why can't we see men the same way, as free to express emotions? Like, stop telling little boys to not cry. You know what I mean? And just that would be so good for them and make the whole world a better place, because we have less crime and stuff, And another thing is like adoption. That's something I really care about, because kids being sort of having a lot of early trauma is really tricky, and it makes me sad that a lot of children are left to have trauma, because that like early trauma affects them for life, and that really changes things. And so that's why I want to be a parent to kids who need that. And I don't know, it's tricky, because like you can't always prevent trauma, but that's something that I'm sort of passionate about as well. So yeah, I think that's all the questions. Yeah, I'm sorry if I didn't fully explain anything. I might have like assumed that I already said it, so that might have been happening. And yeah. I hope that I communicated. I probably like have been very much like, what do you call that? Saying the same thing over and over, whatever that means. A broken record. That's what it is. I probably sounded like a broken record a lot. But I also sound like a broken record in real life, so I might as well be genuine about that, you know? This is just sort of where I get to be a broken record. So yeah. So I hope I gave you a sense of sort of who I am, what kind of energy I'm at. I think I feel a lot more like energetic and free to talk and just, you know, everything and in a flow state now that I've switched situations. So I feel like that might be a cool comparison to part one because, you know, I felt like I was in a very different mode. And, you know, I feel very like grounded in something now. And I feel like I'm moving toward my purpose. And really my ideal is to feel confident that I am like on the right track and I am.
It's very NF, lots of NF talk here.
I'm, you know, confident in myself that I'm actually, you know, safe in my own head and can have that underlying level of psychological security or whatever to know that, you know, I can trust that I am going to be helping people and that they do want to be around me and that like, and also I don't need that because I'm good by myself. And like that sort of mindset is what I'm realizing that I'm moving toward. So, and I sort of feel like I'm accessing that a little bit now. And I know that I'm not always going to be accessing that. I'm always going to be, you know, falling into that trap every now and then. But I just want to share this because I just felt like this is a good time to talk about this all because I'm thinking about my purpose and my goals and ideals. So yeah, hope this made sense. Oh, one more disclaimer. I'm sorry if I'm not quite making sense, just because it's different when I'm talking to people and I'm talking to a camera. And I know a lot of people will probably be watching this. So I apologize if I look like weird or like lost in, you know, my head or something. Yeah, but yeah, no, I'm aware that you guys are watching and it's just, you know, I'm just sort of calm right now outside, not around anybody, just talking to a phone. So anyway, yeah, I guess it's time to end the video. So thank you so much for watching and bearing with me through all of my rambliness. Yeah, hope that that this works out and we'll see what my type is, I guess. All right, bye.
All right, I'm just gonna share the class notes checklist and whatnot. So here we are, and I'm just gonna maximize this so you can see I'm using Mac. Okay, so at the end, Grace was talking a lot about kind of like the vibe that she was giving out, like telling people, it's like, oh, I hope I look nice, I look okay, that, you know, I'm not too rambly. So she's trying to, again, focusing on like the vibe, the feel that the audience is feeling, which would be Dave and Shan. So in my opinion, that's very FE as far as I can tell. So I'm just gonna go down here. It seems like she's definitely prioritizing the feelings. So I'm gonna put that as a savior. So, you know, she's definitely very NF. She was using a lot of NT in our interview. That's why I thought she was S. This one I'm not so sure anymore because she does have double mask. If she is NF, then we can eliminate her being an ENTJ. I'm just gonna go down to checklist here. So she has FE. So I'll just make this a savior FE, and that would mean she has TI. And if she has TI, that means her TI is masculine and her FE is feminine. So that means she has feminine FE, and that would make her an ENFJ. So I'm just gonna go delete this too. if you watch her video closely, you could tell that she definitely is using a lot of sleep. And she did mention energy quite a few times, and no mention at all of being info dominant. So I'm just gonna go ahead and delete this one right here, making her energy dominant, not info dominant. All right. Now, if I go down this list, the hardest one for me to prove is this one. So she used a lot of NT, and she was, using a little bit of SF also, but it could also mean that because she has double masculine internal world, like her NI, so her NI would be masculine and her TI would be masculine. And because they're double masculine, it would become more punchy when she's using NT. And then her extrovert feeling and her extrovert sensing is double feminine. So her SF would not be very pushy at all. It's going to be very flowy. So again, I can't really prove this. I'm going to leave it blank just because I can't prove it. But we can definitely see that she has FE. We definitely see that she has NI. She's definitely not a gatherer. She's definitely someone that is more control savior. Now, her blast is feminine. She's actually apologizing a lot when she's blasting. So when she's talking to the tribe, she is, just very submissive, very just feminine with the tribe, So if you were more punchy with the tribe, you would just be, trying to enforce your beliefs on them. And she doesn't do that. She just kind of goes with the flow. She has her own beliefs, and she follows the beliefs of her tribe, but she doesn't enforce that to other people. So the final typing I got for Grace is ENFJ. So I don't know if I can type it anywhere here. Can I type it anywhere here? Okay, so the final type I got for her is ENFJ, FE, NI, blast, play, sleep, consume, double feminine. So this is the final type that I got just based on what I've been watching. And I'm going to cross-reference this type with, did I make a mistake here? Yeah, became a copyright for some reason. So I'm going to cross-reference this with Binyamin, and we'll see if we get the same type. So I'll make a video with him soon, hopefully, and we'll cross-reference our findings. All right, that's about it. And I hope that people found this useful. I know this was a super long video in general. So, all right. Well, talk to you soon, everyone.